Hello everyone and good evening. My name is Leszek and welcome to today's political Hissy Fit. Today we're looking at more of a cringe than a hissy fit. I'm talking about the things that came out of Ivanka Trump's mouth. The understanding is that Ivanka gets her moral compass from her father. So this should be good. Let's start with the early days of the presidency, with Ivanka Trump's unwavering support for her father's dirty deeds.
You called your father's comments on the Access Hollywood tape clearly offensive and inappropriate.
Well, this tape was over a decade old. I'm sure he didn't remember this conversation, but was very embarrassed by it. And he expressed that not only to me personally, but to the American people.
Also, President Trump now questioning the authenticity of the now infamous Access Hollywood recording in which he was caught bragging about his ability to grope women.
Some attitudes towards women your father has publicly displayed in former times might leave one questioning whether he's such an empowerer for women. How do you relate to that? Or are things changing? Or what's your comment on that?
I've certainly heard the criticism from the media, and that's been perpetuated.
By the way, your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
I've known my father, obviously, my whole life, and he has total respect for women.
Daughter Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
She's hot.
And he was front row when Ivanka took to the catwalk during her short-lived career as a fashion model. Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, you know, her father."
My daughter Ivanka.
Yeah.
In other words, he could see himself inside his daughter. But everyone already knows this, so let's get to the good stuff.
He's been a tremendous champion of supporting families and enabling them to thrive.
Right, if you don't count the thousands of families separated at the border.
You see about child separation. You see what's going on there.
But what about all those families in America who are not doing so well?
Here's the Green New Deal, here's a guarantee of a job. And think, yeah, that's what I want, that's simple. What do you say to those people?
I don't think most Americans in their heart want to be given something. I've spent a lot of time traveling around this country over the last 4 years. People want to work for what they get.
Judging by the amount of people that play the lottery, I'd say Ivanka should do a bit more traveling. But to Ivanka's defense, in her reality, hard work entails walking down the runway a few times, and then you get your own multi-million-dollar fashion company. Some would say that Ivanka's a self-made woman.
I am very much my own woman. I have opinions. My opinions are my own. I'm certainly not sheepish about sharing those opinions, but I do so in private.
Why isn't Ivanka speaking out? Where is she on Planned Parenthood? Where is she on gay rights? Where is she on the rights of women? Where is she on climate change?
I think there are multiple ways to have your voice heard. In some case, it's through protest and it's through going on the nightly news and talking about or denouncing every issue in which you disagree with. Other times, it is quietly.
You know, Ivanka would make for a great 50s housewife.
And so you asked me about people who criticize me for not taking to social media on every single issue, and I would ask them if that would render me more effective or less effective with the people ultimately making decisions.
Mm-hmm. Not even necessarily social media, but just speaking up about things that...
I do. I speak up frequently, and my father agrees with me.
Did she just say that her idea of speaking up is when her father agrees with her? I never speak up.
On so many issues, and where he doesn't, he knows where I stand. But it's not my administration.
Give us an example of something that you disagree with him on, and that you think that by speaking up to him, it made him change his position or soften his position. Are you comfortable with that?
Are you comfortable with that? It's a 2-year-old could answer that kind of question.
Are you comfortable with that?
I think that for me, this isn't about promoting my viewpoints.
It would help if she had some viewpoints.
I wasn't elected by the American people to be president.
Your father wasn't elected by the people. Even ask Jimmy Carter what he thinks about the election.
Russia has been proven by our intelligence community to have interfered with one of our human rights, which is the right of free and fair elections. What's your reaction? How should we deal with Russia?
Well, the president himself should condemn it, admit that it happened, which I think 16 of the intelligence agencies have already agreed to say. And there's no doubt that the Russians did interfere in the election. And I think the interference, although not yet quantified, if fully investigated, would show that Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered on his behalf.
So do you believe President Trump is an illegitimate president?
Based on what I just said, which I can't retract.
People are fascinated, very fascinated by you and Jared, particularly now, fascinated by the role that Jared is playing. He seems to be doing a lot. Let's talk about dealing with Mexico, China, running an office of innovation, brokering peace in the Middle East. He's now in Iraq. How is he able to do all of that? And what are his qualifications? That's the other thing people are saying. How can a person who has no military and political experience be involved on such a high level in this administration?
You know, a lot of people would say the same about how could somebody successfully win the presidency who had never been engaged in politics.
A lot of people would be right to ask those questions. Let's take a look now, 2 years later, at Jared's accomplishments. Dealing with Mexico, fail. Dealing with China, fail. Brokering peace in the Middle East, the Office of Innovation, well, we're going back to old light bulbs now.
We hear the phrase complicit, that Jared and Ivanka are complicit in what is happening to the White House. Can you just weigh in on how you feel about that? There have been articles, there have been parodies. What do you think about that accusation?
If being complicit is wanting to be a force for good and to make a positive impact,
being complicit actually means being involved with others in an illegal activity or wrongdoing. I would think that having a father embroiled in over 3,500 court cases, she would have a pretty good idea of what being complicit means.
then I'm complicit. I'm complicit. I'm complicit.
When we talk about the Ivanka Trump brand, you are no longer running the day-to-day.
No, I'm no longer...
What have you done with your business?
I have no involvement with any of it. So I put it into trust. I have independent trustees. I have no involvement in its management, in its oversight, in its strategic decision-making.
Well, there you go. At least she's doing something right. And hey, for all you Ivanka lovers who think I'm just cherry-picking to make her look bad, I can give credit where credit is due.
But the trustees are family members, right? Your brother-in-law and your sister-in-law?
They are, but they're completely independent, and I'm transparent about that.
Oh, so it's like the mafia handing over the mafia to the mafia. Right. Sounds legit.
Because I think the big concern people that I keep hearing out there is that the family is benefiting financially in their own personal business while your father is in the White House.
Just to give you a chance to respond, Democrats have criticized you today for staying at the Trump property in Doonbeg. They say you're enriching the president. What's your response to that criticism?
It's wonderful to be back in Ireland.
The golf club in question is a whopping 180 miles away from Pence's government meetings, which is a bit like getting a hotel in Boston to go to a government meeting in New York.
You could see foreign leaders coming in saying, I'm going to stay at the Trump Hotel, because they think that that would curry favor with your father. Yeah. Do you not see that being an issue?
Saudi Arabia, and I get along great with all of them. They buy apartments from me, they spend 40 million, 50 million. Am I supposed to dislike them? I like them very much.
Well, the law is very specific on conflict of interest. I would have to instruct somebody to stay there. I would have to know about who is staying there.
Hosting next year's G7 at your property. What reassurances, if any, can you give the American people that you are not looking to profit off the presidency?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've spent, and I think I will, in a combination of...
You can create so many hypotheticals around how someone could benefit or not benefit.
Here's a hypothetical. The Saudis bought your dad, and now instead of American soldiers protecting freedom and democracy, they're going off to Saudi Arabia to protect Saudi Arabian oil refineries. Almost spit there.
You can create so many hypotheticals around how someone could benefit or not benefit, and all I can do is follow the guidance of outside counsel who told me how to structure these assets based on fact pattern.
I love her reaction. That was exactly my reaction. What the hell is fact pattern? Oh, it's a legal term. How does she know what fact pattern means if she doesn't know what complicit means? Fact pattern is the summary of key facts with total disregard for legal consequences. Did she just admit she structured her holdings in a way that she could get away with without legal consequences? Maybe she really does get her moral compass from her father.
I think it's right in business to be sabotagey.
I'm sort of into sabotage, but I think sometimes it can hurt you. Like, I don't mind.
I was a little shocked to learn that Ivanka Trump was a little bit okay with slight sabotage.
Sometimes works, and it sometimes backfires.
He feels that we've compromised our integrity.
So to end things off, my advice is that once Trump is in prison, we should at least send Ivanka off to that Chinese sweatshop that makes her shoes. It's simple, honest, and fair. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell to join me in the next episode. Later.